Hello superstars, it's Friday and I want to share with you a little bit about the Fighterdiet eating personalities. Eating personalities, the way I have it in my life is you gotta know that you're like an animal. There are crocodiles, sparrows, pigs, butterfly, I almost said hummingbird. The thing is, of course, it's not really an animal you are, but it's how I kind of put you into a certain personality who likes to eat a certain way. Let's start with the obvious, that is me, the gluttonous pig. I love to eat. I live to eat. I was born to be big and having a big appetite. I loved all the food when I was growing up. My motivation to go on excursions in school was the delicious granola snacks. If there was a friend who got candy served on regular days, you bet I would be there and kind of be interested in that. Now, ironically, of course, I became very interested in changing my body. I wanted to be lean and strong. And that happened first when I was 8. I became aware of having a body, so pre-puberty. I got my period at 9, and I remember the moment when it suddenly mattered to me what I was wearing. I could no longer just wear sweats. I was conscious about my body, and I dressed accordingly. I put myself on my first real diet plan when I was 12. Before that, I had New Year's revolution, or New Year's, resolutions for not eating candy, and I was excellent with that. So around 12 and then 13, I made my own diet plan, and I didn't even last a day. I didn't see hunger coming. So in theory, I created one. I had a sandwich, then I was gonna have some little lunch soup, and then I was gonna have like one sausage and one potato at night. So little did I know that the moment I put myself on a plan, now all of a sudden I was not able to resist eating. I didn't know what to do. I was so shocked about my behavior. How could I just do that? What happened? And that was kind of the seed to Fighterdiet. And then fast forward, I was starving myself through my teenage years. I thought starving is the way you're going to have a six-pack, which is kind of what I ended up with because I was training 500 sit-ups a day. I did pull-ups and push-ups, crappy form, so I did 500 of each, right? They were not really the right kind of style. But either way, I was exercising and I got a six-pack, and during that time, I actually thought that protein is what I need to avoid, and carbs, just like pure pasta, was the way to get lean. So I didn't last though, because more and more I got hungry and I got terrified about losing my willpower and eat. That was the nightmare. To be fat and unhappy was worse than being skinny and unhappy. And I pretty much planned to enjoy my cookies when I'm old. Didn't work out. I moved away from home with excellent grades except for PE and math in order to study to be a journalist visa, but my real motivation was to nobody have control over me. My stepdad and mom didn't want anyone to interfere with my eating problems. So that was it. Then one day I walked by that magazine store in Sweden and got caught. My eye was caught by Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. I was instantly intrigued. I intuitively knew this is what I need. I need the discipline. And I bought the magazine, realized that you gotta have nutrition mattered. And to build a strong character and to have the training to shape you, all that completely called my heart into it. And I felt, this is what I gotta do. And then I first thought bulking up was you can eat clean. That was in the 90s, 99. You can eat clean and it's not gonna make you fat. So I was just happily kind of and eating brown rice and soy protein because that was what I could afford, green peas and rice, those things. And I was so disappointed noticing that I got just bigger and fatter anyway, because I had a big hefty appetite. Fast forward to today. I just want to give you a little bit of that background, that my whole life in fitness, the reason why Fighterdiet became Fighterdiet is I had to have a system how to build muscle and burn fat and love it, because that was what I realized very quickly, that I just don't want to follow my own diet. I get some kind of sadness any moment I know I'm going to go on a weight loss diet, fat loss diet. I just don't want to do it. And I was stuck in this conundrum of how to build muscle and burn fat and not fall off the wagon, how to keep on going, how to stay lean, not just to get lean, but how. It was like this a completely lack of, I don't know, and nobody else knows. And I saw everyone else falling into the same fatness after their show. I wonder if everyone now talks about the lean feeling and everyone feels amazing on a contest prep diet and everyone talks about they're gonna maintain their lean body after the show, not gonna bulk up and become fat again. How come nobody does it? That became my problem to solve, which then became the program. So the whole thing of prevent overeating by overeating is designed on that. The problem that we want to eat. Now when we have aesthetic goals or health goals, we can't just eat whatever. Gotta have a system for that. So now that comes up to today when everyone is trying to figure out the perfect diet. Just to forget that it doesn't matter how perfect your diet is, you're not gonna want to follow it because you're human. You're gonna want to be kind of bad. You want to override your own self-induced limitations and restrictions, because that is in human mind, the human psyche naturally, that you're not going to obey an order, because if there's a way to get away, if you think you can rob the bank without getting caught, you probably will, right? If I told you that you can eat all the cookies in the whole world and not gain fat, I think you would first. Before that that wasn't a fantasy anymore. So all the forbidden fruit is gonna call your name. And all diets that are designed to change your body composition are based on limiting something in order to create a deficit. And the deficit needs to be consistent enough to change the pattern and the environment your body is living in. Which is why a calorie budget is the system that I explained to you. And why you gotta understand that when you keep on rewarding good behavior too soon, let's say you've been on DEFEED mode for 5 days in a row, and your goal is to get leaner, not just maintain, but to get leaner, it's way too soon to have an ad libitum refeed. Even a 500 calorie extra is gonna most likely keep you from getting leaner, because on average you're not even in a deficit. Now remember too that on those refeed you kind of don't want to be that perfect with your counting. So the macro accuracy, the calorie accuracy, the weighing up, if you go out for dinner or you just want to have a free meal, tends to be a conscious ignorant moment where you kind of say, it's okay, it's not going to matter. Unfortunately, you're going to probably compensate, and an extra 200-300 calories a day can end up with you being in a breaking even point from a caloric perspective over time. So that's how easy it is to kind of think that you're in stay lean, get lean mode on DEFEED, but you're not. And if you're not the one who tracks everything for weeks at a month with no break, you are just not convincing your body to shape up from the behavior, from the results of your consistent behavior, which translates into the manifestation of your body, changing body composition, because it's not happening. That you are not keeping the rules for yourself, and that's why you end up seeing no change. Gonna go by the car here. This is like the break for commercial without a commercial on my end. Oh. Alright, so when you reward yourself too soon, you're not keeping the rules of your new environment for your body. So if your environment is, the goal is to get leaner and stay lean, you're not there. It's like having this kid and you kind of try to make rules, but then you don't hold on to them. So like one day here and there, it's okay to break out of the rules completely. You're not going to have any consistent enough behavior to kind of recondition that mind of that kid. Same for you. Now, on the other hand, if you wonder why you could have refeeds regularly every week when you somehow in the past were complying, that might have been because you were having a maintenance phase. You were lean, and you maintained it before something changed for good, right? Like you just suddenly eating more every day and then wake up and, oh, what happened? So when you're maintaining a leaner body, your body is already there, kind of a surge for the energy. So more energy will go out in hot feelings or heat, increased heart rate. Some of the fat you're eating is not going to be absorbed properly because of too little bile. If it's sudden influx of high fat intake, that's why you get a little upset stomach. So that is why. So the construction in your mind can be that you had a weekly refeed before, but you didn't. It was because you had less fat then. You might have had more muscle, and there's a difference between having regular reward when you're on a get lean plan versus stay lean plan. So that is the sabotage, and here is why I want you to know about the problem with this is you get pissed, you get frustrated, you feel it's not working. You really want to have the weekly free cheat meal or cheat day, and you want it to not be the problem. It's almost like you're defending your honor, your right to have an extra course, an extra meal, even though it's your goal to change your body composition. But then in that moment, it's Friday, it's like today, and you really just want to have what you feel everyone else has. You feel so left out that you can't enjoy the way other people have. And you feel so sad that this is your goal. Why can't you? And then that pity party becomes, you want it to be. So you try one more time, just this week. And if it's not working, then you're not leaning out. You're going to end having no refeed next week. But the next week tends to be never, because you're going to give yourself one more chance to kind of hopefully get leaner without having to give up your refeed, weekly refeed or cheat day or treat meal today. Now imagine if you're one of those people who want fast food, in and out, meal delivery or something like that with 1,500, 2,000 calories in a little thing, like a Cinnabon, big size. Now imagine if that is your culture and that's what you want, and you can kind of hold on to your system for 7 days, but then you're going to break. Now imagine just how it feels to take that away if you think you're never going to have it again. Already there you're going to have anxiety and stress, like, what am I living for? What is the quality of life? It's not worth it anyway. And that's when you have to kind of seduce your mind, thinking it's just this week. The first week off your indoctrinated, repetitive pattern is going to be toughest. The first week or weeks from new behavior, from destructive to constructive, is really a matter of focus. That's why I have VIP coach calls every week. Why do you think really strong, really fitness-minded, long-term fitness people, clients have weekly coach calls? Do you think they don't know what to do? It's because in the moment it becomes a new Friday, when you had your commitment to yourself, you no longer want to do it. Things change. Your motivation changes. Now you just want to live this moment. You want to have your weekly reward. You want to have your glasses of wine, and that is why you're never getting out of it. So it's very important to be aware of the difference between getting somewhere and maintaining something. All right, so if you today on a Friday feel you really want to have a refeed and you can't, because then you're breaking your whole momentum, you're building up this critical mass of enough excess, enough of energy not coming in, that you're now kind of noticing your body. So all of a sudden one day and you feel like, oh, I lost a pound. It's not linear like that, a little by little. Now imagine if you're gonna count an ounce of potential body fat loss per day. You would never see it, right? So when you wonder if it works or doesn't, think about an ounce, two tablespoons of peanut butter. Now put that on daily. How long would it take for you on a scale to see it? And that's another problem here, that you want to be rewarding yourself for what the scale says. And the scale has nothing to do with an already in fit body when you know what you're doing, and you might have drinking more calories, more water, more salt, different kind of food sizes. Maybe you're having food that sits you longer, or maybe you had more carbs and now it's like a little bit more glycogen. All those things have a consequence on the scale, and it's just ridiculous to reward weight loss, losing weight, one fluctuation one day here and there, with something that is going to potentially have you accumulate body fat because you're eating energy, you're not drinking more water, right? So you gotta have the strategy like this. First of all, your behavior. What have you been doing all the DEFEED days? Have you complied with your own system? If not, you have no reason to even ask yourself for a reward. Reward for good behavior. What good behavior? For how long? 2 is stop stepping on the scale to then justify that you lost a few pounds. Maybe you were on vacation, you lost a little water, and you think, oh, that was great. It's no fat, it's just water from muscles probably. So it doesn't matter what the scale says when you refer to your behavior, what happened up to the point you're stepping in. So let's just say that you are actually 4 pounds heavier, you would freak out. But if you're lean and dense, would you then sabotage? Or would you feel that you're leaner? Or would you say, no, I just gained weight? So if it's obvious that you're leaner, more shredded, and you're not just kind of manipulating yourself to have your reward, what is the truth? Because if you can really look at yourself in the eye and be honest, you will know what to do. You will know when to refeed or not when you have experience. So you're not going to have a coach all your life. But if you need someone to guide you because you're sabotaging yourself by changing the rules and giving yourself reward for too little work, then you gotta structure it up so you're not stuck in the same kind of routine of trying some and then forget about it. The yo-yo dieting culture. The way it's easy to kind of hold on to willpower. The way you can have the belief that you're going to be on a perfect diet plan because you are for some days, but then you don't. So what is that for perfect diet plan? The perfect diet plan then, what is that? It's the one that you last on, the one that actually gives you the results and you enjoy doing it. It's nothing that to tolerate the diet isn't enough. You have to thrive, which is why I say if you don't love your diet, you're going to leave your diet. If you think you're going to be happy and feeling motivated to train hard while you can't stand your diet and you're just stuck on this diet and you just have to diet, you see all the negative about it? That's going to be your own fire that you're going to use to propaganda yourself to. It's not life quality to have a healthy diet. It's a waste of time. So you build up. It's like negative affirmations, and then in the moment where you feel it's not working anyway, the fat loss diet won't work, now you're going to use that to validate that you have a right and permission and privilege and honor and a right again to have this cheat meal, even though it's not part of getting leaner at all. You can ask your body's like, hell to the no. I need to have the same routine in order to tap into fat storage. Okay, so now about the appetite, the hunger personalities and the perfect diet. You gotta stop holding on to culturally installed, trained 3 squares meals a day, or that you can't have carbs after 6 p.m, or that you have to spread out the protein throughout the day. All those different things are just dogma. It's like this, everyone believes to have guidelines. You gotta learn how to override them because you can think. And in my coaching work, I've had a way to explain this in eating personalities. So I have the pig, like I said. So back to the pig then, just kind of cut it to the chase. The pig loves to eat, and if I don't get to eat, I'm not gonna be happy. My motivation to train hard is based on eating. My initial motivation to pick up fitness was I wanted to have a fit, strong looking body. I didn't want to be fat. And the food is the biggest player, the biggest impact the biggest influence that I have to manage and master. So that's why Fighterdiet is a state of mind and a mindset and a lifestyle that manifests in a strong, lean body, if that's your goal, which it is for me. There's no other body that requires discipline and mastery. If you want to control your body composition, it's like asking yourself to control the world. You really got to know your crap, or you're going to have your butt handed to you by your own system, by your own human basic instincts. Then we have other personalities, and that is, for instance, the little sparrow, which is kind of not true, because a sparrow eats a lot more for its weight than a big horse, for instance. But the thing is, we think about a sparrow like a tiny little eater, and that's how I feel like a lot of skinny fat people can be, as in, you have a small appetite, but you kind of like to eat food that is high calorie, low volume. So typically, pastries, sausage, lasagna, typical, conventional, mainstream food, not junk food, but things that don't make you have any distension in your belly. Me, the gluttonous pig, don't mind having a full belly because I just kind of love it, just don't want to walk around with it. So the sparrow might actually go about wanting to lose weight where there is no weight to lose. Your body composition is higher body fat, low muscle, and thin, normal body. You feel flabby, and you wonder why you're not eating that much. Because you're not, but you're eating higher calories. Just think about it, if you're now on a keto diet, you're eating almost no volume at all, but you can easily pack on an excess calories. And you don't even notice, because the food doesn't push the satiety buttons or the hormones in your stomach and your intestine to kind of signal that you had enough. So that is another reason to know that if you don't push, there's no stretch in your stomach, it's harder to get full. Now combine that with too fast eating, like you're shoveling down, how are you going to register that you had food? Or distraction, that you're distracted by TV, social media, phone, whatever, that makes you have more entertainment so you can eat at the same time. If you put that all away and only focus on your food and then eat with the opposite hand that you are accustomed to, like left instead, if you're right-handed, it's not going to be as fun as to eat. So you're not going to have as much, you kind of want to have it over with. Yeah, it happens. Now you wonder why you're not doing it right. Well, you like to have your entertainment and eating at the same time, even though you feel like, more-ish. I want more. I'm full, but I still want something. Oral fixation. Walk away for 20 minutes, you're going to see things change. That after effect of wanting to eat more is why we have dessert and why I always have dessert at night. So we have the sparrow then, and we have the pig. Now next, crocodile. That is me too. I can rely on fasting and not eat anything for days. But when it comes to finally gonna eat, you bet I have to stuff myself. I have to have a big meal. So I know I can rely on willpower until I power out. So if I don't know my limit, it would be hard for me. I can't keep up doing that. I gotta see and look forward to that big feast. Another would be then the hummingbird, and the hummingbird is known for having huge energy requirements, so like an ectomorph, like a hard gainer. So you gotta have to realize that you can't eat all these fibrous big food. You gotta have smaller servings with higher calorie foods, denser foods, because otherwise you won't be able to provide adequate enough of calories, and you're gonna have no way to gain muscle or weight at all. So those are there are many who think they are ectomorphs, but you're not. You're just not eating the way you need to supply your calories. In between all these kind of food personalities, you can be a combination, and you can have different ones. You can be a cow and you can be a cat. I have these, but I forgot about them, and I accidentally deleted from my iCloud the book about that. So, yeah. Have you noticed I have a tendency to kind of just, oh crap, I deleted it, so kind of cleanse, right? So the point here is to kind of get away from the square eating if you don't mind. If you're like me, who don't need to eat all day long, you're going to have an easier life by not having to have a breakfast or lunch. If you're an athlete, then you have to know that you can't have big meals and think you're going to go and train right after. You got to kind of think about your lifestyle and then put your life, your nutrition, your diet around that. In my work with kind of regular people, it comes down to believing that you have to have 3 meals and 2 square snacks in order to lose fat. There is no difference if you eat several times or 2, because it's gonna be about you and your energy intake over time, like weeks, months, years. So if you can step away from the acute of from meal to meal kind of thinking into week to month tendency, you're gonna notice that your body is so much smarter that why would it matter? The only, of course, exceptions are medical exceptions. Like if you have diabetes and you have to regulate your blood sugar, if you have type 1 or type 2. So maybe you have hypoglycemia and you have to have small meals. That, again, comes down to knowing yourself. You also might know that you're hungry maybe in the morning, and if you don't eat in the morning, now you're going to have a problem resisting bad choices at lunch. That you, instead of always struggling with yourself, you learn how the way you like eating, and then you apply that. So let's just say you don't care about breakfast, you want to eat lunch, and then you want to wait to dinner. How are you going to make it? Well, you put your calories where you want it. So when you're the most hungry, that's when you eat the most high volume food probably. And when you have the tendency to have a sweet tooth, you have the dessert part of your budget and your calorie budget and your nutrition choices. You might want to be one who wants to fast 16 hours, but then you have to know what happens with your hunger and how to get your calorie budget within those hours of eating. So that's how a lot of people feel that fasting isn't working, because when you do eat, you are choosing the wrong kind of food. You're eating too many calories, or you can't, or you're sitting there thinking you're going to be able to eat those big meals in a short window of eating. Now you feel defeated, you don't know what to do, starting over, you're getting fatter every time. Then we have the other people who want to swear that fasting isn't working, and you lose the point, you miss the whole point. That fasting cannot make you fatter. But what happens consequentially, if you don't hold to the fasting and know what happens when it's time to eat, to break the fast, remember, breakfast means break the fast, we all do it, then you are, of course you're not going to get results, because again, it's not about when you're not eating, it's not about when you're eating, it's what you do combined. So to kind of cut to the chase here about this is, you got to understand about the reward and how you sabotage yourself, even in a refeed that's all healthy, that you got to have patience. There's a difference between building up, getting leaner versus maintaining a lean body. You also have to get out of the impulse thinking and justification system. And 3, stop wanting to comply with typical diet structures about how to eat perfectly, when to eat, and the square meals. Because I think you have more in your life than to just stand in the kitchen meal prep. That if your whole life becomes overwhelming because it's always cooking meals, it's always measuring up, you gotta want to simplify it. So that's why I just don't care about tracking my own calories. I rely on my behavior. I know what I need to measure. I know I don't drizzle the oil. I know I measure up the Parmesan with a cup size thing. Because otherwise I will start to have a little bit more and then I fatten up. I also know that every week when it's time to refeed like today, if I am not leaner, and that is the goal, I will probably just get a little fatter or stagnate, that I might just maintain this body fat right now. For me right now, I am prioritizing gaining muscle. I'm training hard and heavy for what I do in order to pack on lean muscle. That means I don't want to be in a deficit. I just want to slowly lean out and build. And that is why I'm not adding ad libitum peanut butter at night to my dessert anymore, the way I did a few months ago for a few months, to see how it worked out. I got fatter, I got stronger, I got bigger. Didn't like it. Now I'm leaner, denser, more muscle, and I'm having my weekly reward refeed instead. But if I wanted to speed up my leaning out, I had to cancel out my refeed today, because I will not get past this. I gotta first get leaner so I really see it, and then reward. So that becomes more and more powerful the more rounds of DEFEED refeed I do. Alright, so I hope this helps, and remember now that when you join my Iron Eagle arena on paulinodin.uscreen.io, You get access to hundreds of workout videos, real training, superset workouts, glutes, shoulders, all the things you are not doing or haven't done, and you do it under me as your coach and trainer. I'm also implementing and uploading all my Fighterdiet recipe meal plans with Devil's Advocate game, keep it super simple, diet plans, and all that, because the Fighterdiet app is nothing that I can boost up, and I don't have the manpower, I don't have the interest. I do this now. So all that, plus I have an Iron Eagle workout books that is like a book club in my area. I also have VIP form checks projects that are going great. I love having my clients, and I have 2 different kind of programs. One is 10 lifts, and I check those, and you have 2 times per. It's like if you shoot one video for the squat, then you redo it once you have like 20 total videos. That's a mini project. And then I have the big 50 lift list for my VIP clients who really want to take their fitness and their body goals to a higher level, which means you got to know what you're doing, how to train better, smarter, instead of getting injured or stuck at the same place. So all this is on my area, my arena, and I'm adding more and more as I go. I create new ways to really excite you, and I love what I'm doing. And all this is packaged online, and new playlist, and right now October workout program with videos to follow along, and then guides on sets and reps. All that is for you who sign up. And it is very affordable. The thing is, you gotta compare to what you're getting with other trainers, other platforms. It's easy to kind of compare me to a big monster like a Fit-On app with hundreds of trainers, because you don't have the personal connection with all this. But with me, you do. You grow with me. You live your fitness life online with me. And today, the best comment I got from one of my clients, I said, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you around." And he had left away from Instagram because he just felt it was poisonous and toxic, and I'm not getting anything out of it, he said. But I do miss the fitness community. And I said, and then he said, "Oh, I think I have to get back." I said, "Why?" "I know the feeling. I hate having to go there, and I'm not even sure what kind of feeling I'm going to get. So it's all about me kind of not want to react to it, right? All the drama, the stress, the focus on everything else that is not helping me or making me feel great." So I said, "Why do you think I'm building my own private fitness oasis online, where only the people who want to be there are there, right? That's because I don't want to have that stress, the toxicity, all the people who just go in and kind of release all their anger and frustration with themselves, projecting it onto other people. I had enough of all those years of constant body criticism of my own body before there was kind of more censoring, and you can't just say anything to people anymore. I didn't have that. Plus, I was young and naive, and I thought, if I can explain to people, they will understand me. So I really thought I could convince everyone that I'm not a man. Stupid now, I know. I lift and I'm not taking drugs, and I do this because I love it. So yeah, that was a long time ago. So I know the feeling. All right, so thank you so much for listening. I hope this gives clarity. I'm proud of all you who are not giving up and who give yourself the understanding and the acceptance and appreciation, to give yourself love, and realizing it is not easy to want to be good for yourself. It's easy to be destructive and say, screw it, won't work anyway. But then check into Adlerism. Adler was the third of the psychologists who made a big shift, a big impact. Freud, Jung, and Adler. He has really great psychology about not being a victim and how to be taking responsibility and not live based on past experiences and conditioning. So that's my recommendation, and I highly want you to come to my arena. So what's stopping you, right? Is it that you're scared of actually getting results? What if you actually committed and enjoyed training and eating? You wouldn't have a weight problem, which you don't. You have a mind problem and a diet problem. It's your relationship to it. So now imagine, if you love your diet, you wouldn't leave it. if you enjoy your training and it works without overwhelming, not taking too much time, it's not over ambitious, it's productive, it's effective, you know what you want out of your fitness life, things would be amazing. You would feel amazing. So think about that. Like if you're feeling bad and hating yourself, there might be a reason. You're not training, you're not eating, you're not thinking, you're not hanging out with the right tribe, you're not where you are understood. Now imagine now that would change. You would have no excuse, exactly. So if you're scared of succeeding, it's normal to kind of escape where you're gonna be helped. Self-help needs you to want it more than you want to remain the same. Thank you for listening.